Welcome back, America. I'm Hugh Hewitt. Victorino Matus is the co-host of the Getting Hammered podcast. They had a great new edition recently. I hope they have a couple during the holidays. He is also the weekend editor and the arts and culture editor of the Washington Free Beacon. You can follow him at X, at Victorino Matus. Now, Vic, you're a news guy. Do you like breaking news as much as I do?
I kind of dread breaking news, Hugh. I have to tell you, when I started at the Weekly Standard many, many years ago, I remember after the 1996 election and Bob Dole got trounced, and I thought to myself, man, it's going to get really boring, and I can't see anything happening after that. And then, of course, the Lewinsky scandal happened, and then, of course, the closest election ever, and then there was 9/11 and Afghanistan, Iraq, and it's been, ever since then, now it's been nonstop. And this particular second term of Trump, there was no quiet summer. Every day it's breaking news.
Well, I've got breaking news for you, Vic. You're sitting down.
Give it to me.
Care of Mary Kay Cabot of the Cleveland.com sports page. Cleveland Browns Shedeur Sanders is expected to start Sunday's game in Las Vegas with Dylan Gabriel in the concussion protocol. Barring something unexpected, Sanders will make his starting debut, becoming the 42nd Browns starter since the team returned in 1999. So that's breaking news, isn't it?
Yes, it's very exciting. When people talk about how to define eternity, I think it was waiting for Shedeur Sanders to finally get the call and figure out where he was going to go pro. That felt like eternity, but good for him. I wish him luck. And, of course, wishing, Bernie Kosar luck, too. He pulled through that surgery today.
He's out of surgery, and it's looking good. Now let's get to the thing I wanted to talk to you the most about, the turkey countdown. We are 10 days away from Thanksgiving. Vic, you are a cook and a drink artist. How do you make your turkey?
Okay, so here's a true confession. And I do a lot of cooking. I cook a lot at home, and I roast chickens. I have yet to roast my own turkey because we've never had the Thanksgiving at our house. It's always been at the in-laws or my parents, one or the other. And God bless them that, that's always been the case. And now we go down the street to my cousins where they do both a regular roast turkey and a fried turkey. And I have to tell you, I enjoy a mouth-watering, crispy fried turkey that takes maybe 45 minutes at most. You do it outside. My brother-in-law, Bill Dwyer, is a fire marshal, so he supervises it, out on the grass. You never want to do it on the deck. I do make sides. I can make great mashed potatoes. And I am in charge, however, Hugh, of the beverages, and I always make a pitcher of Manhattans. And that is
all right. Now that is second on my list is how to do the turkey. And you've given us two options, and you have indicated a preference for the grilled turkey. I don't like that, but to each their own. Then I wanted to know, since you're the author of Vodka, what are the drinks that go? I don't drink, so what is the drink that goes best with turkey?
Well, great question, Hugh. After Labor Day, we tend to switch to the brown spirits. And so what we're liking to do, for example, for Thanksgiving and for Christmas, if you're not doing a martini, you're doing it for a large crowd, make a batch of Manhattans. And I'll tell you the secret. It's not much of a secret. 40 ounces of bourbon, 20 ounces of sweet vermouth, and 40 drops of bitters. Any bitters of your choice, walnut bitters, dark chocolate bitters, regular bitters, and stir that up, and that's a party ready to happen. You just pour it over rocks, put a little bit of a cherry garnish with just a little bit of that cherry juice. You're good to go.
Now, Vic, walk me through that again. First, the recipe, and then why it works. Because this is all alien to me. If I have anything, I have a single malt scotch every 4 or 5 years. So I'm just not a drinker. Why does this work?
Well, first of all, you have the cherries and you have the bitters and the vermouth. That kind of wonderfully disguises the power and the potency of the whiskey or the rye if you're using that. And people are out there to have a good time. Again, remember, don't drink and drive. But, people think that they're going to need a lot to cover them for Thanksgiving. I'd say after 2 or 3 of my Manhattans, you're pretty good to go. And it does pair very nicely with turkey and all the sides. You get started early. And again, the ratio for me in a pitcher is 40 20, 40. That's 40 ounces of the bourbon or the rye. If you like a little bit of spice, then the 20 ounces of sweet vermouth, like a Dolan, and then 40 drops of whatever your favorite bitters are, and you're ready to have a party. Again, on the rocks, you need to dilute it somewhat there. Let's not get too crazy. And real cherries.
Do you recommend a particular brand of bourbon, and what is the difference between bourbon and rye? I ask for the Steelers fans and myself.
Oh, sure. Well, the difference between bourbon and rye is where it's distilled from. Bourbons generally come from, wheat, corn, and rye, comes from rye. So you'll definitely have a spicier flavor, a spicier profile for that. And there's a huge boom in rye whiskey right now. People are rediscovering it. It's something that goes back to, our colonial past, so that's very exciting. But that's what I recommend. Do I have a particular brand preference? Normally, when you're mixing them all together, if you do it well, doesn't really matter. You don't really need the most expensive stuff. No, nothing plastic, okay? Come on now. It's a family occasion. Nothing that bounces on the ground, Yeah.
We used to take my grandpa, who lived 101, old granddad, and we thought it was cute. But in fact, it was because it was cheap. Let me finish by talking about dishes. What I specialize in at Thanksgiving is doing dishes. Do you have a job around the house since you don't actually do the turkey?
Well, again, I'd like to remind everybody I do most of the drinks, so I provide the spirits, making sure everybody is taken care of, and then I try to avoid the dishes. Are really the worst part, aren't they? I don't know if you have a choice between cooking and cleaning. I always say cook. So I'm out there. I'll whip up
I always clean.
No.
Vic, I can be alone in the kitchen and I can organize. I just don't want any help. Last question: do you like Thanksgiving? Love Thanksgiving or tolerate Thanksgiving?
I absolutely adore Thanksgiving. I have the fondest memories. A lot of it is because you think about your family memories. We never had, crazy, bad, divisive Thanksgivings like you hear some stories about a lot of families, unfortunately, and arguments. Everybody generally agreed on the same things. My late mother, God bless her, used to make a famous French stuffing with chestnuts and roast pork and celery. I miss that very much. It's a great stuffing. It's French. Look it up.
Vic, my mother was a wonderful nurse and a terrible cook, and I never had warm turkey in my life. So I like getting together. I love the family time, but turkey doesn't do it for me. Vic Matus, thank you. Have a great. We'll be back a little more Thanksgiving before This is our warm-up edition. Follow him on X at Victorino Matus. Follow me in the next segment of the Hugh Hewitt Show.